Hey everybody, I'm Tom, the Sunday Dinner Chef. Today we're going to be making braised beef in tomato sauce with a fresh made pappardelle. Let's get cooking.
The Sunday Dinner Chef will make you feel fine. Sit down, let's have a drink and enjoy the show.
Okay, welcome back. Beautiful Sunday. Today we're going to start making our Sunday dinner. Now, into the food processor, I have 1 cup of semolina. Now, semolina is double milled semolina, so it's equivalent to 00 flour. All right. Now, this is simple. I'm making pappardelle. The reason why I make pappardelle all the time is because I don't have them fancy cutters. So I make it a wider noodle. So into the food processor, like I said, 1 cup of semolina, half a teaspoon of salt, and then I'm going to be adding water. Now water, you can make it 1 to 1. This is probably just a little less than a cup, whatever brings it together and forms a ball. Now, I also like to add a little bit of olive oil to it, okay? It brings it pretty much together and it makes it easier to work with. So just add a little bit into it, and you'll see this start to come together. Now, once it forms a ball, I stop. I don't over-process it. And then we're going to put some semolina down on the board, and I'm going to bring this all together. Now I can tell you, just from the feel of it right now, this is silky smooth. It's not too dry, it's not too wet. Forms up a ball pretty easy. Doesn't stick to your fingers. That's why I like working with semolina, especially for making pasta. Now sometimes I do add it into, if I make some bread or if I make some pizza dough, whatever, I add a little bit to it. Works great. Now I'm just going to keep working this a little bit until it just relaxes a little bit. Then I'm going to cover it with some saran wrap. Just gonna let it sit room temperature, probably for an hour, until I get the braising going with the beef. So we'll get back to this in a little bit. Now, if you have never made pasta before, try it. I mean, what's the worst that can happen? There's no pasta police going to come knocking on your door. So give it a shot. Make a great Sunday dinner, okay? And be a little proud of, guess what? I made this pasta. Very simple, very easy to do. A pot of water and 2 tablespoons of salt on the stove waiting on the pasta. Sunday dinner was always a big deal for me growing up as a kid. I was the youngest of 5. And after everybody left the house, I was the only one left. So Sundays were my mom cooked, and everybody seemed to gather around the table. And that meant a lot to me, being the youngest, and everybody else flew the coop. You know, and I'm sitting there, Lawrence Welk on Saturday nights, and but it was nice to have everybody come back. This carried over into my cooking career. Sundays was a big deal for me to watch other families coming in and putting out decent food for everybody to sit down and have a great dinner with, and just watching all the families that would come into the restaurant to eat. Happy memories. All right, into the Dutch oven, I'm going to be putting in some olive oil. Then I'll be adding in a pat of butter, and then I'll season up the pan with my Tommy Spice. Now, Tommy Spice is salt, pepper, garlic, and onion, all granulated, all equal parts. And then what's going to happen is I'm going to add in the London broil. Now this was a shoulder cut that I trimmed up and made it into a London broil. Now what is a London broil? It is a cut of beef that can come from just about anywhere. It's how it's cut. It is usually a tougher cut of meat. So I'm going to be using this for a braising process. Beef goes into the pan. I'm going to brown it on either side, and then I'm going to be adding in onion, jalapeno, and also garlic. And then I'm going to be adding in a can of diced tomatoes. Now, being that I'm using diced tomatoes, okay, I'm going to be cutting up the onions, garlic, and I'm using the jalapeno today. So I'm going to put a little spice to it, plus I got one left over in the refrigerator. So I'm going to cut them all up fairly the same size, all equal, and then we're going to add them to the pan also. Okay, beef is braised up really nice. Now I'm going to add in just what I cut up now, the half an onion, one jalapeno, and also 5 or 6 cloves of garlic. I love garlic, so I added in. It's not going to hurt you, that's for sure. I'm going to saute this down a little bit until the onions become translucent. Then I already have the can of diced tomatoes opened, and what I'll do is I'll pour that in, cover it, and just let that go for a little while. I will be adding in some Mexican oregano, a little bit of parsley, and then again some more Tommy spice. Lid it and let it go until I get an internal temperature of the meat to be between 190 and 200, and that's where I want it to be because I want to be able to slice it. I don't want it to be pulling apart. I want to be able to slice it. It looks much better on the plate for presentation. Okay, diced tomatoes go into the pot. Now, this is where you start waking up the neighborhood. The aromas are unbelievable. I wish you could smell it. Now, I'm going to add in some Mexican oregano. This is my go-to. And it has a strong aroma and a great flavor. This really wakes everything up. And my wife was just telling me a little story that her mom would make an eye round for one dinner, and then either on a Sunday or during the week, she would take what was left over of the eye round, put it into a Dutch oven like this, and make her sauce and cook it down the same identical way that I'm doing it. I tell you what, it's great food, and you can't go wrong with it. Just unbelievable. All right, so I'm going to move some tomatoes around here, and then I'm going to put the lid on it. I'm going to let this go probably for about 45 minutes to an hour. Okay, here we're going to roll out the dough. Dough's ready to go. It's been about a little over an hour. So we're going to open it up. We're going to put some flour down onto the stainless steel table. Now, you don't need a stainless steel table. You can do it on anything, as long as you have a flat surface. So I'm going to roll it out. Feels really good. It's not sticky at all whatsoever. So I'm going to just spread it out a little bit, get the rolling pin out, and roll it. I like it thin, so you can roll it just any way you want, really. If you want a thicker pasta, you can leave it that size right there. I like it super thin. So don't be intimidated by it. This is very easy to do. You're gonna make yourself feel much better. And there we go. We're just getting ready to cut this right here. So what I did was I have a board that I made that I can cut spaghetti squash on so it doesn't move. So it has pegs on it So what I do is I slice it up with my pizza cutter, and we'll take them and hang them on to the dowels for my spaghetti squash cradle, is what I'm calling it. And we're going to cut this up. Let it dry for a little bit. We're going to be ready to put this baby to bed. All right, I got this just about where I want it, okay, as far as thinness. Now what we're going to do is take the pizza cutter. I'm going to cut them into pappardelle. Some might be bigger, some might be smaller. No rhyme or reason to it. There's no pasta police going to come banging on my door and say they're not pappardelle. Very simple, very easy to do. Please don't be intimidated by it, and start making your own foods at home. You can't go wrong. I'm telling you, what a great flavor and a proud moment for yourself to make your own pasta. Now Marie's going to help me here. She's going to take them from the table off my little my pie server there and put them on the dryer. Everything works. You know, you got to use what you got, the tools that you have. So they're going to dry up a little bit, not too much. And we're just going to wait for the meat to get to temperature. And then I will, there you see it right there. Tempt it. It is ready to come out. It hit the right temperature that I want it. Now I'm going to take the immersion blender. I'm going to break up some of them tomatoes and some of the onions and make it into a little bit more sauce. Now you could use it that way. Okay, nice and chunky. Both of us don't particularly care for our sauce to be like that chunky. But it's got what a great flavor. So we're going to thin it out a little bit, and we're going to get ready to put this whole thing together. Now I slice the meat up as thinly as I can. Now if you want to let it to be shredded, let it go a little bit longer. It is just about on the verge to be shredded, and I just slice it thin. Now, into the saucepan, I'm going to add a little olive oil to it. And then I'm going to be putting the sauce into the pan along with the meat. That's going to make the meat warm up again, get it incorporated with the sauce. And then we're going to start adding the pappardelle into the water, and that's going to go into the saucepan. And we're going to get ready to plate this as soon as possible. All right, meat goes into the pan. I'm going to just move it around a little bit, so I'm going to add some more sauce to it. I'm going to start heating everything up, and then more sauce to the pan, get that good and hot, because the pappardelle is not going to cook that long, all right? Fresh pasta really cooks up really quick. So I'm going to get the pan filled with the right amount of sauce that I'm going to be using, and we're going to be putting the pappardelle into the water. Now this should take probably 3 to 4 minutes, tops, for it to cook. It's going to bubble up real quick. It'll settle down, and I'm going to add all of it into the water. This, like I said, cooks very quick, sinks to the bottom, and starts floating to the top. Done. I don't want to overcook it, and then because I'm going to finish it in with the sauce with the meat. So I'm going to, as soon as I put the pappardelle in there, as you can see, the water clouded up. Now, I am immediately going to be taking some of that pasta water out. That's going to get added into the sauce. Helps thicken it, helps bring everything together. There you see it right there. It's done. All right, so I'm going to start adding this into the saucepan. And you know what, folks? I'm going to be eating pretty soon. Sunday dinner at its best. Braised beef with pappardelle in a tomato sauce. Doesn't get any better. We're going to plate this now. Let's recap though. This is a braised beef with pappardelle in a tomato sauce. Now, what it consists of is a piece of shoulder beef that is cut into a London broil style, which is a very tough cut of meat. And what we did was, now we browned it on either side inside the Dutch oven. Added a half a yellow onion, 1 jalapeno, 5 or 6 cloves of garlic, and then a can of diced tomatoes. Seasoned it with Tommy spice and also with some Mexican oregano. Put the lid on it and let that cook for about 45 minutes to an hour. Just until I got it to the point where it could slice. Now, what this is going to go over is pappardelle. Now, it's a pasta. It's a wide cut pasta. And what we did was we made this homemade with semola, water, and salt. That's it. Nothing else. So, let's get ready to taste this phenomenal tasting dinner. All right, add a little pecorino to it, and now we're going to add some parsley to it. Just, you'd always eat with your eyes first, and the aroma is fantastic. All right, let's give this a little taste here. Pappardelle was fantastic. Also, the meat was very, very tender. If you notice, watch when I cut it, I'm using the back of the knife to spread it apart. All right, listen, everybody, thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. Please hit that like and subscribe button. Share it out if you can, really helps my channel. And thank you, stay safe, and I'll see you next Sunday for another Sunday dinner. Take care, see you next time.
The Sunday dinner chef will always care for you.